conversation. I don't want this to be an intimidating thought of like, ooh, college recruiting. I have no idea where I want to go. Clearly, I didn't know where I wanted to go. We didn't know where we wanted to go. We didn't even commit to college field hockey until like end of our junior year of high school. So the reason why we're having these conversations now, and I'm super excited to have Heather as our recruiting coordinator, is we just like to be intentional about, even if it's a thought in your mind. Because what we can start to do is kind of piece together things for you guys to start to think about, have conversations about, that will kind of help you track your progress as you go into what college you want to go through first, because that's what's most important, and then what program you want to play for, that's second, okay? Because college comes first, academics, etc. Cool? So I just wanted to preface it by that, but then V, you said covered in there what Coach Heather went over is how to write a proper email to a coach. So we're going, for those going to Shooting Star and Festival, Coach Heather has a really good step-by-step. This is what needs to be included, etc. What else did Coach Heather put in that video? Yeah.
Like when looking for a college, like think about location and culture of the team.
Absolutely. Location, culture, that's really, really important. What else? Yeah.
That you should go to college camps.
College camps are important. Yep. Yep.
That your ability, attitude, and like the way your family acts can affect what college you get into.
Yeah, the whole recruiting process, it's the whole package, right? The coach wants to know exactly who they're getting into their program. If you think about 18, 20 spots on a team, they want to make sure they know the full package. Absolutely. Anything else from the video? Topics. Raise your hand if you're going to watch it tonight. Thank you. It's good. We'll make sure we can pump it back out to you as well. Make sure you get on those emails. So go ahead.
All right, so I guess we'll get started by just like an overview, okay? I'll give a very basic overview of what I wrote in the Recruiting 101, okay? And then we'll just open it up to questions. So of course, first, okay, college is super, super important. It's a really big decision, so you shouldn't take it very lightly. Like Steph said, you need to look for academics first. You need to look for about like how you feel on campus before you decide anything about field hockey. We are not professional field hockey players in this country. Only a select few get to do that. Most people go on with their regular lives. So we need to be prepared and prepare you guys for the future. We want you to be successful as you move on in life after your hockey career, right? So that's what we care about most, is that we find a school that fits you, because not all of us are going to end up at UNC, and not all of us are going to end up at like Franklin and Marshall, and that's good, because you all are different hockey players and you all are going to impact a program, okay, specifically really well. That's all we want, you guys to fit in where you belong, okay, and excel, become, and I don't know, achieve any goal you want, right? Okay, so again, academics first, location first. Do you want to go far? Do you want to go close? The team culture eventually, okay, and how much they practice. There's a difference between D1 and D3 with intensity and practice schedules, so maybe that matters for you. Maybe you want to take hockey a little less seriously, but you still want some good competition, okay? So these are all things you need to kind of consider, but my biggest takeaway, do your research. Don't just be like, wow, that school looks pretty, I want to go there. Okay, do your research, all right? So that's the biggest part. Okay, second is that you're extremely intentional with your recruiting, okay? So you need to be very active, and you need to go send out the emails and get your name in the coach's head. That's why we always say camps and clinics are the most important, because the coach can match a name to the face, and then they see your email, and then they see your face, and they get to know you and your family and how you play and your personality, because all of that stuff matters. Versus an athlete who would just send emails and maybe just get seen at a showcase where there's a big mystery, like, I don't know how they are outside of field hockey, okay? Maybe these emails are written by their parents. I don't really know how they articulate themselves, right? So all of these things are extremely important to just get your face in front of a coach and start to build that relationship. And you can never start too early, because honestly, a lot of these camps are one-on-one with these college coaches, and you get great coaching. So some of these options are better, and they're maybe more worth your money than other options that are available, okay? So it's just something to think about at a more personal level, all right? And that being said, emails, be on top of your emails, all right? That's it. That should be the number one thing we know about, where you are telling the coach about you, introducing yourself, telling your grad year, and then explaining what you've been up to, okay? that's it. That's like the big overview. I'm gonna let Steph jump in if I miss anything, but we'll do questions after that. All right, but that's the most important stuff I have. Okay, so it's all in your hands. Steph and I did our recruiting ourselves, right? So we are like the best tool for you, but we are not actively doing your recruiting because you need to choose what school you want to go to, right? But yeah.
Yeah, so you guys are showing up every day and putting in the hard work in field hockey and excelling and growing and all that stuff. That's number one. Number two, if you're hearing this conversation about college, what's your why? Why do you want to play in college? Because that's going to motivate you, and that's going to be kind of your checks and balance. When it gets tough or you may not know, you may not want to, know your why. Do you love the game? Do you want to extend it into another level? All of that's the first thing that you can do in your head. Now, the reason why we're having this conversation for those who are going to a recruiting showcase is we need to create a list first. Again, not to be, I know exactly where I want to go, but we're going to narrow down some schools that we can even just start the process of U14s of sending out some practice emails out to some colleges, and we're going to help you along that process. So what Coach Heather is saying, be intentional with the Recruiting 101 video to help you create that list, and then we have the same thing with the format to help you create that email. Okay. Now, once you listen and watch that, you will come up with a list. Coach Brandy has created an awesome Excel sheet to keep everything organized so that Coach Heather, myself, and Coach Brandy can all look at, and you can look at, and your parents will all have. So we're all on the same page on who's on your list. That list will be ever changing based off of the things that Coach Heather has in her video, and as you grow as a human being and a field hockey player. Okay, but that's our hub. Now, we will send a date, so when we want to make sure we have our emails ready to go. And really important things to put in that email. It's an intro about yourself, about your school season. Are you playing other sports in the winter? How your grades going? Maybe can't really. I really like
academic achievements. A lot of times, I just made honor roll.
I really like this school because of X. Okay. Now, one thing I want to say right now: do not be overwhelmed by this process. I do not want this to be a scary process at all. I want this to be, for those who do want to play, just an exciting first step. These coaches do get a lot of emails, okay? It's just the reality of it. But if you really feel passionate about playing, there's no harm in getting some emails on their front porch right now, okay? And practicing and getting the right wording in, okay? Now, with that said, do we have questions from you guys? And again, we are a resource for you, so we work every day in office and we can help, but this was kind of a one-stop shop hub for us to try to get some conversation on your questions. Yes?
How many colleges should we email?
Great question. So we usually, as U14s, narrowing it down to like 18 or so schools.
Yeah, 10 to 15, 18, like whatever in that range is pretty good. If you're really serious about recruiting, maybe you can do 18. If you're just getting out there, 10's fine. Right?
Yeah, you don't like push it to 18. Like if you have 10 and you know that after all the stuff from Heather's email, don't feel like you have to push it to 18 or anything.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah.
You're also going to weed out, like, say you know what you want to do, your major. Those will help you weed out those schools. So you might have a list of 18, but you know they all have my major.
And as you know what you want to do eventually, that'll add or take away schools, right? So as you kind of grow and we grow with you. So, great question. Questions? Yes.
How many D1, D2, and D3 schools should we email? Like,
I say never shut the door to any division. We just, we don't know what you're going to like at this point and as you progress. So, if you feel right now confidently in your play that you would only want to go D1, then that can kind of tip the scale in numbers. But we always say keep some D3 options in there. Coach Heather and I talk about all the time. The field hockey world is small. All the coaches know each other, so to be able to like really kind of put yourself out there, extend yourself out there to all different divisions. Division 2 sector is a little bit smaller, so you might not have schools there, but the D3, D1, I would say it's definitely good to add.
Yeah, they're excellent, and I think people don't realize, like, you guys probably haven't looked too much into field hockey, but do any of you guys know like Tufts? They're D3. they have an excellent field hockey program that plays on water turf, right? So that's not something a lot of people, where there's actually D1 programs that I believe UC Davis is still playing on grass. They might have gotten field turf by now, but there's some D1 programs that struggle to have that too. So that's the other option, is there's a lot of really, really good options still in top D3, that if you're in the D1 sector, that's really, really still good to look at, okay? So I encourage you to have those on your list, or just at least look at them.
Awesome.
Any other questions?
Yes.
For clinics at specific colleges, like as right now as 8th grader, after she attends one of those, she should send a follow-up email saying, nice to meet you,
Yep.
those types of things.
Yep, absolutely. And to send one before too, and just say, hey, I'm super excited to come check out your camp. And in Heather's email, you'll see what action items of, make sure you put our communication emails at the end and our phone number, so that coaches can eventually know, oh, she's a powerhouse kid, oh, we know to reach out to. And then after, always send in like a thank you and all of that stuff. So yeah. And the subject, did you put subject line super important in there?
Yeah,
Okay.
subject is super important.
Make sure you add your grad year all the time, so they know. And you know, sending something out like a text to your friend, you don't get a text back and you feel like, oh, why didn't they text me? We don't feel that way with college coaches. They're inundated with a lot of emails. So if we don't hear something right away, totally fine. We're just showing them interest. We're saying, I want to be one of the 18 or 20, right? It's very different from our current social media. Bing, bing, bing. No, we're just going to keep plugging along. And then we are very well connected in the college world. You're intentional about your process. If they reach out to us, we love to speak about you and advocate for you as players. And then once you get into like junior year, sophomore year, all that stuff, we can go out on our end especially and say, hey, these players are awesome. So
Yeah, and you guys especially too, you are not able to talk to D1 coaches until June 15th of your sophomore year.
in
So
person. But yeah.
no, even personalized emails too. So if you send out an email, they can't say anything back. Their email will literally say, thank you for your email, here are our camps and clinics. And that's actually like a good thing to get back, right? So you won't get anything besides a very generic email for a while.
Yeah, you can send it. They just can't talk to you. Yeah.
Like if you're emailing the same college coach, how often should you email them?
So we have a showcase coming up. That's the part of this conversation. It's a great first step. So anytime you have showcases or you know, big tournaments like NITs or something like that, great time to do it. Anytime you're going to a clinic camp. As you get into 9th grade, you know, and you really start to narrow down on your schools, then it's, you know, it's worth sending like some check-in emails every once in a while. So it depends on this, I guess, once every 2 months to start, and then maybe, you know, progress from there to 4 weeks or so.
Yeah, like still early on, it'll ramp up. So imagine it's gonna go like this on how much you email them over time, right? But right now, again, anything exciting, like a lot of you guys are coming out of your season, and let's say at the end of your field hockey season, you get named team MVP or most improved or something like that. That's something to include in your email, right? Or like in the future, that would be something you could email them about. So it's stuff like that. So there's not a specific number. It's about like what kind of events are going on, or how's your like
What do you add
life
to that
going?
email?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
other stuff.
Next steps, once you create your list, you are welcome to set up meetings with us if you feel like you absolutely do need help with it. One thing we will do is we will see that you're updating. We'll see who's putting in the work and all of this stuff. What we will not do is push, add to your list, add to your list, add to your list. Okay, this is the conversation to say this is in your hands. So the more work you put in, the more we can help you, right? So we won't be sending out many reminders, say add to your list, all this stuff. If once you have your list added and your next step is your draft email, that's when we're gonna come in and help. That's when we're gonna make sure before you send out those emails, we're gonna check your list, see if we think culturally as a player you could add anywhere else, maybe add a couple more spots to the list, help you with that email and send, okay? So now's like the last like 3-minute period. If you feel like you need help, you know, thinking about anything else in the next phase before we reconnect for the emails, let us know, okay? So 3 minutes of any more questions? Yes.
Should we put on academic achievements?
Yes. Yeah, that's really important to them too, especially depending on what level you're looking at. If you're looking at an Ivy League school, you need to put a ton of academic achievements. If you're looking at a school that maybe isn't as rigorous academically in a standard, maybe it'll matter a little bit less than, but they need to know they can get you into the school. That's the most important thing, right?
That's for any division too.
I know they're doing more fun stuff than us talking right now. Good? All right, it's an exciting process, not an overwhelming process right now, just the start. So have fun with it, and we're here for you to support you, okay? All right, go team.
Yeah, good job.